Quartet artists don't really do tours. They do what we call programs. And programs are like weekend events that are good for the quartet lovers, but strategically and economically, they don't always make sense for the groups. What up, family? I'm starting this new series because I love Quartet. I grew up in it, I've produced, and I've played on successful records. And I've had a front row seat at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some may know, some may not know, but I stepped away from it for a while, not because I hate the genre, not because I don't love the music, but simply because it started to not make financial sense. Since I've been away, I've learned a lot through trial, through error, through experience, through observation, and through research. And I just want to use this series to show people and tell people what I've learned, because at the end of the day, I want to see us win. I'm not doing these videos because I think I'm an expert. I'm not doing these videos because I think I know everything. I'm simply doing them because I want to help. Everything that I've learned, I want to share. Everything that I know, I want you to know, because I want to see us win. We deserve to be recognized. We deserve to be able to make a living for real doing this, and people need to hear our message. So this series is going to cover a lot of things that I think we could benefit from. I'm going to be using my phone a lot because I want to make sure I stay on task and stay on topic. So I'm going to break down some of the things that I'll be discussing so that you guys know what y'all will be getting into. Number one on the list of things I'll talk about is the economics of Quartet. Why is it so hard to make money in Quartet, and what can we do about it? There's people on both sides of the fence when it comes to the economics of Quartet, but the singers and musicians and promoters that are really honest will be able to tell you, yes, we get paid, but most of the time we don't get paid enough. Another question is, do you think it's possible to make a full-time living in Quartet? Why or why not? Some people say yes. Some people say no. A lead singer story might be different than a keyboard player story. And those are the things we have to address if we want to get to a better place. Number two on the list of things that I'll be discussing is building a real brand. Quartet groups don't need more gigs. They need stronger brands. And I know there are some people who feel like the measure of success in Quartet is how much they gig. How much a group gigs determines how successful they are. And for those of us who live it, those of us who have been in it, know that that's not necessarily true. So then you ask the question, what's a Quartet brand you think is doing it right? Is there any Quartet groups out there that you see making an impact through branding? And if so, let us know who. The third thing on the list is social media strategy. And I'm going to talk about that a lot in this series, because when it comes to social media and Quartet groups, there's not really any strategy. And I'm not sure there's even a thought of prioritizing social media. The most that we see with Quartet is fans and videographers recording and posting their stuff, but we don't really see any execution with the groups themselves. And I know that may be hard for some people to hear, that may be offensive to some, but what's true is true. And I really want us to be able to get to a place where we sit down and strategize for social media specifically. The fourth thing is booking and touring smarter. There's a better way to book Quartet tours, and it starts with the mindset shift. Quartet artists don't really do tours. They do what we call programs, and programs are like weekend events that are good for the Quartet lovers, but strategically and economically, they don't always make sense for the groups. Some groups are honest about that. Some groups are not. And in order for us to get to a better place collectively, I think we have to be honest about that. Number 5, merch and monetization. Your fans want more than just music. And the truth is, fans do want more than just music, but in Quartet, it's very rare that artists put emphasis on cultivating a fan base. We normally just wait for promoters to book us. We put the weight on the promoters to advertise the events, and we show up, and it's either a failure or a success, but it's not necessarily because people came to see us. It's more like they came to see the program versus an individual group, if that makes sense. Number 6 is collaboration over competition. The future of Quartet might depend on how we work together. Music is competitive in all genres. There's a level of competitiveness that is healthy because we do all want to be the best at what we do, but we have to be careful that we don't compete with each other in a negative way that keeps the collective from reaching its full potential. That is something that's super important because it's one thing to want to be the best, and it's another thing to work hard to prove that you're better than another group. So yeah, we got to work on that. And number 7, legacy and the next generation. If you don't change now, the next generation may never know this music. I say this a lot. Some people agree and some people disagree. My grandparents were Quartet lovers on both sides. My dad and my mom, Quartet lovers, Quartet singers, and I grew up in it, so I know about it. But if we're not careful and strategic, there could come a time where there's a generation that's unaware. So I think it's super duper important that we do our due diligence to make sure that there's an awareness amongst the younger generation, and 2, the next generation, like even groups that are successful with singers and musicians and lead singers that are still with us. I think it's important that we shift our minds to a place where we're pouring into the next generation, so that there is Quartet left for people to enjoy. So those are 7 things that I'm going to be kind of dealing with, one video at a time, one point at a time. And I'm really doing this not because I feel like I'm an expert, but because I'm a brother and I'm a part of this community, always have and always will be. And at the end of the day, I just want to help. And if you find this valuable, or if you know anybody that may be able to benefit from this series, go ahead and share this with them so they can be tapped in. I love y'all. Peace.